Casey Neistat is one of the greatest filmmakers and YouTubers out there, with 12.5 million subscribers gained over 10 years. He's done many things, from making a TV show, made other viral commercials, vlogging for 800 days, being one of the best storytellers on the planet, received tons of awards and fans, built and sold a social media business for $25 million, to being a dad at 17 years old and now having 3 children. 2 months ago, I was extremely inspired by Casey, as his videos were not only professional beyond belief, but also very relatable. As he has been extremely productive over the years, I wanted to figure out how both you and I can be as productive as him. So I watched all of his daily vlogs, plus many interviews of him, and managed to discover 5 productivity secrets he uses that both you and I can implement today. Let's start with number 1. He's extremely action-oriented. Ever since he was a child, he was not afraid to take the plunge, or as someone would say, "Just do it!" He ran away from home, dropped out of high school, getting his first baby, getting a TV show after years of hard work, and all of that. He just did what was right to him at the time. And in one of his vlogs, he differentiates between what he calls losers and closers. Closers are the ones who not only start but also finish without having these half-done tasks hanging around. You can even see his action orientation in his vlogging style, with fast cuts, impulsive shots, lots of boosted boards, different locations, and overall relatability to us. And as productivity is getting more of what you want per unit of time, and the natural conclusion is do what's required over and over and over again, action orientation is extremely valuable. There's no lag time at all, just action and rapid learning, which I believe can really differentiate people like you and me from everyone else. And this also relates perfectly to his second productivity secret, which is imperfection. Casey is not a perfectionist, and especially in his vlogs, although he's perfectly capable of producing mind-blowing stuff, he's also not afraid to share his flaws, something I believe was a major factor to his success on YouTube. Other than that, there are no fancy animations, a lot of handmade animations instead, but just a streamlined process with multiple cameras sometimes though. He knows what truly matters, which is a story, something I'll come back to later in this video. I mean, think about it, the reason why we normally are not action-oriented is mainly because of this perfectionism. We fear that what we are doing right now is not to our standards and just procrastinate in order to not face the truth. But what I found to be most helpful though is to see what I'm capable right now as my current best. And because I'm not threatening myself at that moment, I'm then able to continue and fail fast and continue anyways, ultimately growing faster as a result. And many times even imperfections can turn out to be the best ones. The third secret is somewhat related to the other ones, which is focus on what you want. Casey is very big when it comes to figure out what drives each person, because if we do not exactly know what we want, it's a lot harder to get there. So in order to then get what each of us want, it's important to be relentless and focused. As Casey said, instead of taking 10 things to 1, it is by taking 1 thing to 10 that we get all the things we want from life. And that means taking this one priority and fill up your days with it. Because as I said at least a couple of years ago,
free time is the enemy of progress.
Now, if you follow Casey for a while, you know that he stepped off YouTube for a year, and sometimes free time might be exactly what you need, as I also come to terms sometimes. But still, we can get very far by picking one thing and drive it all to our maximum without being distracted. But it all comes down to what you want. Not necessarily live a life you not enjoy right now just to fit in, unless that's what you want, of course. Thinking long term instead of short term. Speaking of long term, one activity that might be painful in the moment but yield amazing returns is Casey's 4th secret, which is running. Casey is a very dedicated runner, and for several months straight he ran the equivalent of a half marathon every morning, despite doctors told him that he could not run again, but apparently he can. According to Casey, running provides a relaxation and restoration from him, as well as a time to clear his mind and get ideas. He even has a theory that he could sleep less hours every night because of running, but that's once again a theory. Nonetheless, running has tremendous health benefits, both physically and mentally, keeping you both fit and sharp and intelligent. As a runner myself, although I'm not at all in this level, I can attest to all these benefits. I run consistently from 2021 with some half marathons completed, and there is some magic with this forward movement, this very fast movement, the occasional runner's high, and that is truly amazing. It feels like there is some kind of light beams that just shoot out. It's very powerful, and if you're running a lot, you can probably relate to that. But I have to admit, because of the winter and the focus of showing up to you every day, I am taking a break from running at the moment. But it's not because of the weather actually, because I run in as cold as minus 11 degrees Celsius. But I'm probably going back in spring again once it's a little bit better outside and optimize my YouTube workflow a little bit, and I look forward to it. The last productivity secret represents the core of what productivity is really, which is repetition. Take for instance a skill Casey is the master at, which is storytelling. If you're a writer or filmmaker, you've probably heard how utterly important storytelling is, since it keeps your audience hooked and changes their brainwaves. And yet, according to Casey, there is no secret formula.
The only way to learn these things and get better at these things is by doing it over and over and over.
And probably for all skills, let's say writing, speaking, selling, playing guitar, playing sports, etc., you can only go so far just by browsing on the web and reading books. It's only by repetition, like showing up day in and day out, admitting our mistakes and improving every time, that we suck so little that we become exceptional. And if you look at Casey's entire career so far, you see this pattern. From down to the absolute bottom of society that was dishwashing from him, to the absolute top getting multiple rewards and recognition. A true hero's journey of constant repetition and iterations. And as I'm recording this, I still believe I have a lot to learn in terms of speaking, storytelling, filmmaking in general, and providing the best content I can possibly make for you. And my strategy is once again showing up day in and day out, and also be living proof that it works. And I believe as long as you also embrace it, as well as Casey's other 4 secrets, which was taking action, embracing imperfection, knowing your motivation and running, if you incorporate all these 5 secrets, you will have as much of an extraordinary life as Casey Neistat. As always, I'm interested to hear your comments. Are you also a huge fan of Casey like me, and what have you learned from him? Let's show him the appreciation he deserves. And Casey, if you happen to watch this, keep going, do what you do best, and know that we all stand behind you as you're a huge inspiration to all of us. Until then, thank you wherever you are for sticking around so far, and always remember that you're the most amazing human being alive.